What's up guys, it's Jordan. Today I'm going to be telling you guys about my first time going to LA. So this all started September last year, 2018. My friend called me and we had both just started college and he had moved out of town for his school. So at first we were just like catching up, and then out of nowhere he's just like, bro, do you want to go to California? So one thing about me is that I'm really impulsive when it comes to traveling. Like I have a tendency to just kind of like plan trips out. Even if I don't have enough money or whatever, I just let things work themselves out, and they always do. So of course I said yes. Now, since I had more experience like planning trips out from a trip to New York City earlier that year, he basically put me in charge of planning the whole trip out. So initially I wanted to travel the same way that I had in New York. I wanted to take a cheap flight. I wanted to couch surf because I felt like that was the cheapest way to travel. But unfortunately that didn't really go as planned. First, nobody on couch surfing would host us. I don't know if it's just because it's a different city or because there was two of us, but I mean, my previous host had left me a good review, so I don't really know why nobody would host me and him. And also plane ticket prices would like jump up the day that he got back to town. Like I'm talking like they went from like 150 to 300. So obviously that wasn't an option for us. Of course, we still had to travel cheap, and then we bought some concert tickets to Childish Gambino's last show. Now initially I was reluctant to actually buy the ticket because the tickets were really expensive and I'm not really that familiar with a lot of his music, and I tried to sell my ticket but I couldn't, and now I'm glad I didn't. But I did some research, and from what I found, the Greyhound bus was the next cheapest option to get us there. I forgot how much it cost, but it was a 30-hour bus ride. And then the next cheapest form of accommodation was a hostel, so I booked us a stay at a hostel in Hollywood. If you don't know what a hostel is, it's basically like couch surfing except you pay for it. So like you walk in and it's kind of like a hotel room, but there's bunk beds and you're staying with like random people. So we planned the trip out for December, the end of the semester. December came and my friend got back to town, and then the very next day we left on the Greyhound bus. Now I had never been west of like Fort Worth before. If you're not from Texas, Fort Worth is like directly west of Dallas where I live. So like I knew that part of the country was kind of empty, but I hadn't really seen or experienced it for myself before. Also, I didn't really realize like how big Texas is. Like I knew that it's one of the biggest states in the country, but like I think we left around 7 or 8 p.m. and then like 12 hours later, like 7 or 8 a.m. the next morning, we were still in Texas. Like literally the time zone changed while we were still in the state. Now the bus ride itself, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of sucked. Like I guess it was okay because I had my friend with me, but we ended up getting separated on one of the stops anyways. But like, first of all, it's like impossible to get any type of quality sleep on the bus because they make stops like every 3 or 4 hours. And when they stop, they like cut all the lights on, and sometimes they make you get off the bus so they can clean it. So I think we stopped in Abilene, El Paso, a few other places in between those. We stopped twice in New Mexico. We stopped twice in Arizona. We stopped once in California, and then we stopped in LA. So for like 30 hours straight, I did not get any type of like quality sleep. Also, the bathroom on the bus is like impossible to use. Like your core strength has to be insane. Another thing is food. I brought food because obviously I can't eat a lot of the food that they have at like the stops. I think one of the stops had like a little restaurant where they just served basic food like hot dogs and stuff like that. But other than that, you're basically going to be eating from vending machines and whatever you can buy in a gas station. So keep that in mind. I would recommend bringing food personally. Another thing is that they switch out the drivers. Of course, because a driver's not going to be able to do 30 hours straight. And the drivers are kind of a mixed bag personality wise. Like some of them were very chill, and then some of them were like Chadwick, who almost kicked a guy off the bus at 4 in the morning for playing music. So like I said, me and my friend got separated in Phoenix. Like we didn't end up on separate buses, but they made us like switch buses, and we didn't like get on in time. So we were like some of the last people to get on, and I sat near the back, he sat near the front. But it wasn't that bad. Phoenix to LA was like maybe 5 hours. So we got to LA at night, maybe around 10 or 11 p.m. The Greyhound bus station is pretty close to downtown, and like I said, we were staying in Hollywood. Now, the first thing I noticed about LA is that like the whole city smells like weed. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. Like at first, I didn't really like LA. Like I guess I had kind of unrealistic expectations because I had went to New York earlier that year. So like when we pulled up to the city, I wasn't really blown away. Like it didn't seem that different than Dallas. But like as the trip went on, I realized that like the beauty of LA is found more in the day-to-day life, like in the nature and like the luxury and just stuff like that. Now, like I said, the station is near downtown and we had to get to Hollywood. We didn't want to use Uber because Uber is too expensive. So we walked like a mile with our luggage to the metro station and then we bought these tap cards. Now, honestly, I would recommend like if you're going to a big city, get like a week-long metro pass. It'll save you so much money. Like we spent $30 for this and it's unlimited. You can use it on the bus, you can use it on the train, and it basically took us wherever we needed to go. Now, while we were walking to the metro station, we were passing through some kind of like sketchy areas. There were a lot of homeless people. Like there were tents like lining the sidewalks. Like we couldn't even walk on the sidewalk. We had to walk on the street. And so my friend was spooked. Like he was sketched out. Anyways, we rode the subway to Hollywood, and when we stepped out of the station, we were shook. Like they had the stars on the ground, there were theaters, all the lights. It was very, very surreal. So we walked from the station to our hostel. I think it was like maybe half a mile. Now the hostel we were staying at is called Banana Bungalow Hollywood. It's a pretty decent hostel, but most importantly, it was cheap. And also they had like a basketball goal. They had other games. They had a lot of events that we didn't go to, but they were there if you wanted to. Now, when we got to our room, it was probably like 1 in the morning. So everybody else was asleep. I didn't really get a chance to introduce myself to anybody. The next day, I got a chance to introduce myself to all the people in my room. Everybody was pretty chill, except there was this one guy who came in like on our last day. I'm gonna get to that in a little bit. And also there was this guy that came in that was snored so loud, and he was sleeping on the bunk directly above me. Like I lost so much sleep over that. Just like when I had went couch surfing, we were pretty much the youngest people there. So basically while we were there, we did as much free stuff as we possibly could. I did splurge on food though. Like I ate so much food because of course LA has a lot of vegan spots. So like I ended up spending like $200 on food for the week. Now, I don't really remember the exact order that we did things. We started off by going to the concert, and it was my first concert ever. It was at the Forum in Inglewood, and I didn't know any of the songs except for Redbone and This Is America. The next day, we hiked up the Griffith Observatory. Now, this was my first hike ever, and like I thought I was gonna die. I was wearing Vans too. It was horrible. Plus, we had went grocery shopping right before the hike, so I was carrying like a shit ton of fruit with me. And I had like a gallon of water and everything. I was so unprepared. But honestly, the view from the top, it was worth it. Like we were able to watch the sunset from the top. It was spectacular. So the next day we went to the beach, which was actually my favorite part of LA. We went to the Santa Monica Pier, and then we walked from there to Venice Beach. Honestly, if I ever move to LA, I'm gonna move to the beach. Like I'm gonna buy a house that's right on the beach. So the next few days were a little less eventful. Like we just did more free stuff. We went to Universal City Walk, which wasn't anything too special. It's kind of like a mall. We went to this art park, but like the indoor part was closed. So we just kind of walked around the outside and took some pictures. And then the last day we were like really worn out. So we basically went to the library. Like our checkout time was at 11, so we basically went to the library and camped out there from like 11 to like 7 p.m. It was cool because we had a place to charge our phones and they had bathrooms there. But really we were just trying to like stay off of our feet because we had our luggage with us. So around 7 o'clock, we went to Rodeo Drive, and bro, Rodeo was like crazy. There were so many nice cars there. I mean, like there's nice cars all around LA. Like we would see nice cars in Hollywood too. But Rodeo was on a different level. I'm not gonna lie, Rodeo Drive inspired me a little bit. Also, while we were there, we saw Lance Stevenson, and like we made weird eye contact. I don't know, he's a strange dude. Speaking of strange dudes, earlier I told you about how there was a creepy guy at the hostel. Now, he pretty much got there like the day before we left, and I didn't really get a chance to talk to him that much because he gave me a weird vibe. Like, first of all, he was way older than everybody else there. But you know, I don't discriminate based on age or whatever. But like my friend told me some very weird stuff about him. And like my friend isn't the type to lie about this sort of stuff. Now first, he said that he was in like the kitchen. Like basically, we had like a little kitchen in the hostel. So he said he was in the kitchen and the guy peeked around the corner like this and just looked at him. And he said he was staring for like 10 seconds and didn't say anything. And then he just left. And then he also said that night, he woke up in the middle of the night and he saw the guy with a red flashlight looking through this girl's stuff and like smelling it and everything. So yeah, like I said, very, very weird vibes. Honestly, that's why I would prefer couch surfing, because like since it's somebody's home, they're gonna be more careful about who they let in. A hostel is just gonna let in anybody that's willing to pay. So yeah, I'm glad that nothing else really happened with him. I'm glad we were able to get out. But yeah, after Rodeo, we left for the Greyhound bus station and we got on the bus and came back to Dallas. And on the way back, this guy like almost got arrested at one of those little checkpoints. Like basically they just like come on the bus and ask everybody if they're a US citizen or not. And if you say yes, they'll just keep walking, even if you're not. But like this guy didn't speak a lick of English. So like they took him off the bus and put him in the back of their car. And then we were waiting there for like 5 minutes. And then they just let him come back. And the dude was shook. He was breathing like super, super hard. I felt so bad for him. But yeah, to this day, I want to go back to LA. I really just want to go back to the beach, to be honest. And just like I said with New York, I will go back to LA. And next time I'm gonna vlog it. And it's gonna be amazing. So I hope you guys enjoyed the story. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. I post weekly. Stay tuned for more videos. Also, turn on the post notification bell so you'll be notified every time I upload. Thanks for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you all in my next video. Peace.